I sit at my desk in the office of the comptroller of the currency, surrounded by endless piles of financial compliance reports. My cubicle is neat, ordinary, much like the image my family holds of me. Anna Reynolds, 32. The quiet one. The girl with the stable little government job. Nothing remarkable to see. My phone buzzes softly against the desk. The screen lights up with an email notification, a message from my credit monitoring service. The subject line catches my attention, new credit inquiry reported. I tap it open. A fresh inquiry. It says, from First Atlantic Trust. The name means nothing to me. I don't panic. Instead, a strange calm sweeps over me, icy and deliberate. My instincts as a senior investigator at the OC snap into gear. My focus sharpens, vision narrowing with the kind of precision that only years of financial forensics can teach. This isn't confusion clouding my mind. It's recognition. Someone's made the opening move in a game I know by heart. Easter brunch flickers through my memory. Just 2 weeks ago at my parents' home in Arlington. The recollection is painfully clear. My sister Caroline, 35, had waltzed in fashionably late as usual, swinging a handbag that cost more than my monthly mortgage. The designer logo practically shouted for attention. She filled the room with her voice, bragging about private equity deals and a lavish weekend in Nantucket. The Hamilton portfolio doubled this quarter, she told our parents, glowing with self-importance. We're restructuring the entire tech division. Dad, Richard, looked like he might burst with pride. Mom, Elaine, squeezed Caroline's hand, her face soft with admiration. Then Caroline's gaze found me, the way it always did when she needed someone to belittle. Still processing forms for the Treasury, Annie? She asked, her tone sweet and poisoned at once. You should try living a little. I smiled, saying nothing, the role I've mastered since childhood. Later, I watched through the kitchen window as she climbed into her new Range Rover, nearly $70,000 of gleaming metal, and sped away. Her spending lately had been unreal, far beyond what her salary could justify. Now, staring at the credit alert, the pieces slide neatly into place. I tuck my phone into my pocket and walk, calm and controlled, to a soundproof meeting room. Inside, I close the door and dial Caroline. She answers on the 4th ring. Annie, this is a surprise. I'm about to head into a meeting. Caroline, quick question. I say gently, my voice small, familiar, harmless. I got a strange credit alert. Did you maybe use my information by accident? Her laugh is light and dismissive. You're paranoid, Annie. That job of yours has made you suspicious of everyone. Must be exhausting. My pulse stays steady. So that's a no. Of course not. Her voice turns sharp. Gotta run, big meeting. The line clicks dead. I lower the phone slowly, staring at the dark screen. The mask of mild, agreeable Annie slips away. In its place settles the composed, unreadable face of investigator Reynolds, the version my coworkers know, the one my family never meets. I know without question, Caroline lied. Most people might feel hurt, angry, or betrayed. I feel none of that, only a cold, analytical calm. My sister made a fatal mistake. She picked the wrong target, one trained to hunt financial criminals. I return to my cubicle, log into my secure Treasury terminal, and type with quick precision. Few outside this building even know these systems exist. I open a new internal case file, my hands pausing over the keyboard. This isn't merely a credit inquiry. This is a line crossed, one that can't be uncrossed. Once I enter my name, there's no reversing course. I type Reynolds, Anna. Then, quietly and methodically, I begin my off-the-record documentation. The credit alert, the timeline, the bank name, the call to Caroline, and her response, word for word. I include the Easter brunch, the Range Rover, her reckless spending patterns that no longer match her income. As I work, daylight fades from the window. My colleagues pack up and leave, voices trailing down the hall. The office falls silent, but I stay focused, deliberate. This isn't personal anymore. It's procedural. Case number OCFR 23791. My family has always underestimated me, mistaking quiet for weakness, steadiness for lack of ambition. They never realize that being underestimated is a kind of armor. Caroline is about to learn that truth the hard way. I save the file, close the system, and gather my things. In the dim parking garage, I slide into my old Subaru and head toward my modest apartment in Alexandria. The drive feels strangely calm. The quiet one with the safe government job has just declared war, and my sister doesn't even know it yet. The next morning at the office, I access my full credit file using my clearance credentials. The steady hum of keyboards and phones fades as I stare at the monitor. It's worse than a simple inquiry. Right there on the screen, glaring in digital certainty, sits a new account. A $90,000 personal loan from First Atlantic Trust, approved 3 days ago. My heart stutters once, then steadies under years of discipline. Impossible, I whisper, fingers already flying over the keys. Within seconds, I pull up the loan application. Every detail matches mine: name, social security number, flawless credit score I built through years of diligence. But then there's the signature. I zoom in. The handwriting is an imitation of my name, but it's careless, loops too large, angles wrong, the slant foreign. She didn't even bother to make it convincing. Her arrogance shows in every pen stroke. Then I notice the declared income, inflated by over 6 figures beyond my actual salary. I take a screenshot, save it to a secure folder, and lean back. The fluorescent lights hum above me while the office continues its steady rhythm. Phones ringing, conversations blending, as my world tilts quietly off its axis. Caroline has always been the star, the golden child. From piano recitals to valedictorian speeches to her flashy tech job, she's the one my parents, Richard and Elaine, parade around at every gathering. And me, the afterthought, the quiet one with this safe little government job. Their words, not mine. They made her this way. Years of favoritism built Caroline's entitlement brick by brick. Their endless praise inflated her ego until she truly believed she could take whatever she wanted, even my identity. The bluish glow from the monitor paints my face as the reality settles in. This isn't just debt. It's fraud. That $90,000 loan, tied to my name, could dismantle everything I've built. My entire career depends on a spotless financial record. One hint of impropriety and my clearance, my livelihood, is gone. Caroline hasn't merely stolen money. She's endangered my life, the one I built quietly, independently, far from her shadow. My first instinct is to call the bank and dispute the account immediately. My hand moves toward my phone, then stops midair. No, that's exactly what she's counting on. If I act too soon, she'll know. She'll scrub her tracks, twist the story for our parents, paint me as the paranoid, overworked sister who misunderstood something. Not this time. This isn't a family dispute. It's a criminal investigation. I open a secure browser and start assembling my case, treating Caroline as I would any other white-collar offender. My training takes over, calm and deliberate. First step, document everything. I screenshot the application, the forged signature, the credit report, the loan terms. Every image is dated, time-stamped, and encrypted. Next, I cross-reference the loan disbursement date with Caroline's social media. Her Instagram is a highlight reel of excess. 2 days ago, she posted a selfie, standing in a sun-drenched living room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the skyline. The caption reads, "Just picked up the keys. Penthouse life. Blessed." The timestamp is exactly 1 day after the loan would have cleared. I move on to the public property records. The penthouse condo, now in her name, was bought 3 days earlier. Down payment, $85,000. The remaining $5,000 would cover movers and that designer bag she was parading at Easter. I lean back, the puzzle pieces slotting into place. Motive, her unsustainable spending. Means, my stolen identity. Proof, the digital trail tying it all together. The trap is set. All that's left is to make her confess. I close the files and shut my computer with the same quiet efficiency I always show. To anyone watching, I'm just Anna Reynolds wrapping up a workday. Nothing out of the ordinary. As I head to my car in the dim parking garage, an odd calm settles over me. Caroline never learned the value of patience, or meticulous strategy. She lives for instant gratification, impulsive choices, quick wins. I turn the key in my old Subaru. I'm in it for the long game now. The quiet one with the steady government job is the hunter, and my sister doesn't even know she's been marked. 3 months pass. I stay still. The $90,000 loan payments ping my monitoring alerts, each one scraping in just on time. Caroline is careful enough to avoid default. Too smart to bring immediate repercussions. Too arrogant to imagine serious ones will ever come. I watch. I record. I document. A Tuesday afternoon, my desk phone rings. I know my mother's number without looking. Anna, darling. Elaine's voice carries that practiced warmth reserved for announcements, not conversations. We're having family dinner at our place in Arlington this Friday. Caroline has some exciting news. The tone is expectant, insistent, not a question but a summons. What kind of news? I ask, neutral. She wants to tell everyone herself. You know how she is. A pause. You'll be there. Of course, not a question. Of course, I say. After the call, I sit frozen at my desk, eyes on the compliance reports, waiting for my review. 3 months of silence, then this. The timing is deliberate. Caroline can't resist showing off in front of an audience, real or borrowed triumphs. This is my moment. Her arrogance, her need to flaunt. I know it will lead her to the confession. Friday night, I parked the Subaru a block from our childhood colonial in Arlington. Through the bay window, I see Caroline's Range Rover parked like a trophy under the porch lights, its shine swallowing my father's sensible sedan beside it. I check my phone. The recording app is up to date, tested, ready. Virginia is a one-party consent state. I slip the device into my pocket and walk up the path. Annie, my mother opens before I can knock, like she's been watching for me. Her hug smells of white wine and that expensive perfume Dad buys at Christmas. Everyone's already assembled. The dining room looks like hours went into it. Fine china, crystal, linen napkins folded into neat triangles. My father stands by the fireplace with a scotch in hand. Caroline has taken her place near the bay window, wine glass half empty, gesturing as if she owns the room. Look who finally made it, Caroline says, her smile tight. The government must be running late today. I accept the barb without reaction. Traffic on the bridge, I offer. The dinner unfolds along its usual grooves. Dad on golf, Mom asking about Caroline's Chicago trip, the routine questions about my little apartment, and whether I've considered anything with more potential than the treasury. But tonight Caroline is different, buzzing beneath the surface, eyes flicking to me, appraising. She refills her wine twice before the main course is finished. When Mom brings out dessert, one of those elaborate chocolate concoctions Caroline adores, I casually set my phone by my water glass, screen down, unnoticeable. The red recording light disappears against the dark tablecloth. Caroline taps her fork against her glass. The crystal's chime hushes the small talk. I actually have something to share, she announces, cheeks flushed with wine and expectation, eyes fixed on me. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. Funny story, she continues, loud enough to command the room. I used your credit to get a $90,000 personal loan. Silence drops. My father freezes, fork poised midair. Mom's smile hangs, unsure. They all watch me, waiting for the familiar pattern. Annie absorbs, Annie accommodates, Annie folds. Caroline leans forward, feeding on the silence. My score wasn't great, but yours? Flawless. You should thank me. I'm building your credit history. I feel oddly steady. My pulse holds. I look at her without blinking. Why would you do that, Caroline? I ask, voice low but clear. That's bank fraud. She laughs, brittle in the quiet room. Oh, stop being so dramatic, Annie. It's just family. I keep my calm. Fraudulently using someone's identity to obtain a loan is a federal crime, I say. It carries up to 30 years in prison and a $1 million fine. For a beat, her smile slips, then returns. God, you're boring. It's just paperwork. Who's going to know? Who's going to care? I lift my glass and take a small sip. The office of the comptroller of the currency might care. The FBI might care. I watch the color drain a fraction from her face. Did you use the money for the down payment on the penthouse? I ask. Uncertainty flashes across her features. How did you? She starts. Just curious, I say. Because that would make it wire fraud too. Sentences often run consecutively. My father clears his throat, the fork finally clinking against his plate. Now, Anna, I'm sure Caroline didn't mean any harm. She's ambitious, always has been. Richard, my mother cautions gently. Caroline's expression hardens. Don't worry, Daddy. Annie won't do anything. She never does. She turns her attention back to me. You wouldn't want to explain to your little government friends why your sister needed to borrow your pristine credit, would you? All those awkward questions about family loyalty. Her confession is crisp, arrogant, undeniable. Every word logged, every timestamp noted. I check my watch. I should go. Early meeting tomorrow. My mother's voice rises. You're leaving? We haven't even had coffee. Sorry, I say, standing and gathering my phone. Work. Caroline lifts her glass in a mock salute. The wheels of government never stop turning, right, Annie? I give my parents a polite nod, ignore her jab, and step outside. The night air is clean after the charge dining room. I get in the Subaru and drive not to my Alexandria apartment, but straight to the OC Field office. The building is mostly empty. The night guard knows me well enough not to ask questions. The fluorescent lights in my office hum as I enter. I log into my secure government terminal with my credentials and pull up the file I've been compiling for 3 months. I fill out the official conflict of interest notice with clinical care. I attach the dinner audio. I upload the forged loan documents, the credit report I've tracked, and the penthouse purchase records from public filings. I go over everything again, checking each attachment, verifying each entry. Then I transfer the full chain of evidence to my AY's Joint Task Force and hit submit. The case slides out of my queue, escalated to a level I can't touch. The counterattack is underway. Monday morning, I arrive at the OC Field office earlier than usual. The sealed manila envelope with the evidence sits on my passenger seat like a dormant bomb. I sign in at security, badge catching the harsh fluorescent light as I move through the building with practiced low profile. My desk phone rings at precisely 8:32 a.m. Martha Green's assistant, crisp and professional, says the deputy director would like to see me immediately. The walk to Green's office feels longer today. 3 doors, 2 security checks, 1 steadying breath before the knock. Enter, calls Green. Martha Green sits behind her mahogany desk, posture perfect. At 58, she commands the room without raising her voice. Her silver-streaked hair is pulled into a tight bun. Reading glasses rest on the bridge of her nose. My physical evidence binder, my work, lies open before her. Rins, she says, motioning to the chair across from her. Sit. I do, hands folded in my lap to stop any unconscious fidgeting. My pulse doesn't falter. Green removes her glasses, placing them neatly beside the binder. I've reviewed your report. Her gaze is razor-sharp, measuring. Efficient work. Clear evidence trail. Unassailable documentation. I give a single nod. My expression neutral, professional. Good job, Reynolds. It's airtight. You're officially recused from the investigation. The words fall between us, not up for debate, not an option, but a decision backed by nearly 3 decades in the Treasury. Green shuts the binder with a muted thud. The FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office now have full control of the case, she adds. Standard procedure when family is involved. She leans forward slightly. A rare softness flickers across her face. Not emotion exactly, but empathy in disguise. And Anna, she says quietly, you handled this exactly by protocol. I'm sorry it involves your family. Something in her voice, not sympathy, but recognition. For an instant, I wonder if Martha Green once stood where I do now, choosing duty over blood. Thank you, ma'am, I reply evenly. Nothing more is required. The same federal engine I've served for years now moves on my behalf. The case is no longer mine as it shouldn't be. Recusal safeguards the process. It safeguards me. Back in my cubicle, I open my inbox, 37 new emails overnight, requests for audits, documentation, compliance checks, verification reports. I start working through them one by one, fingers moving in efficient rhythm. Lunch drifts by unnoticed. I eat a sandwich over spreadsheets. A suspicious activity report from Minnesota. Transaction data from a credit union in West Virginia. Calls from field agents in Florida and Oregon. By dusk, I drive home in my aging Subaru. Its familiar hum steady as I navigate the Alexandria streets. Once again, I'm invisible, the quiet one with the unremarkable government job. At 7:43 p.m., my phone vibrates. My parents. I almost ignore it, but answer out of habit. Anna. My mother says, voice brittle with forced brightness. You seemed upset at dinner Friday, sweetheart. I just wanted to check on you. I stay silent. You know how Caroline is, she continues quickly. She's just ambitious. She didn't mean anything by it. My father's voice joins in, loud and certain through speakerphone. Your sister's doing important work, Annie. Ventures like hers demand flexibility. Flexibility, their polite word for bending rules. For breaking them. I have to go, I say evenly. Meeting. I hang up before they can reply. There's no meeting. Only the quiet hum of my apartment and the steady truth that justice takes time. A week drifts by. The federal machinery grinds forward, unseen, unstoppable. I move through my routines. The boundary between investigator Reynolds and Anna the sister stays fixed until Thursday morning. A text buzzes on my phone. Caroline, the FBI just called me. What did you do? Call me now. I stare at the screen. No triumph. No satisfaction. Just calm certainty that the system is working as intended. I screenshot the message and forward it to the U.S. Attorney's Office per recusal protocol. 3 minutes later, another ping. You'll destroy this family. Mom and Dad are crushed. You're a vindictive bitch. Another screenshot. Same destination. Then I block her number. Evidence logged. Caroline's panic is just another data point in an ongoing file. The next morning, I sit in conference room B with 4 colleagues. We're dissecting banking compliance standards for rural institutions when my phone buzzes again. A news alert. I don't check it. I don't need to. Somewhere across town, agents are stepping toward Caroline's Range Rover in the garage of her penthouse condo. Dark suits. Badges displayed. They'll identify themselves. Read the charges. Recite her rights. I'm not there. I don't need to be. The paper trail, the falsified credit forms, the traced loan disbursements, they already tell the story. Her down payment. Her own voice on that dinner recording. Anna. Reynolds. My colleague Tim looks up. Your thoughts on the proposed compliance thresholds? I clear my throat. The current framework places undue strain on institutions under $50 million in assets, I reply. A risk-based, tiered approach would be more efficient. The discussion resumes. The world moves. Justice proceeds. Across town, my sister is learning what I've always known. Real power doesn't live in luxury cars or handbags. It lives in precision, discipline, and doing the job perfectly. Some would name it revenge. I call it compliance. Friday morning, federal agents move through Caroline's penthouse with quiet precision. Financial files spread across the dining table. Designer shopping bags piled in corners. One investigator scrolls through her laptop while another logs the contents of a safe behind an abstract painting. Martha Green stands at the center, overseeing. What's the tally, she asks. The lead agent glances up from a thick file. It wasn't just Anna. We've uncovered 7 distinct stolen identities, all used to secure loans. 7. Green's eyebrows lift. Colleagues. Former friends. The agent hesitates. And her parents, Richard and Elaine Reynolds. Green nods once, absorbing the weight of it. Total. $410,000 in fraudulent debt, the agent replies. Spread across multiple financial institutions. Martha walks to the window overlooking the pristine neighborhood Caroline bought her way into. Smart, she says, not praise, just assessment. Each loan just under $50,000, the agent notes. She knew the reporting threshold. Kept it beneath advanced underwriting review. Made token payments to stay off default radars. Outside, Caroline's Range Rover gleams in the sunlight as agents secure it onto a flatbed truck. A $68,000 asset soon to be seized, along with everything else. The jewelry, the accounts, the life funded by theft. She built her world on other people's names, Green observes quietly. Another agent approaches, tablet in hand. Deputy Director, we've located messages to a cousin about transferring funds offshore. Attempted deletion, but recoverable, the agent reports. Martha gives a brief nod. Add obstruction to the list. The doorbell echoes through Anna's apartment in Alexandria. She peers through the peephole. Her parents stand outside, their faces etched with worry. Drawing in a slow breath, she opens the door. Richard Reynolds speaks first, his complexion flushed. They arrested your sister, he blurts. They said she used our names, too. Anna, you work for the government. You have to fix this. Tell them it's a mistake. Elaine grips her husband's arm, mascara streaking beneath her swollen eyes. Please, Anna. They're saying awful things. Fraud. Identity theft. They took her away in handcuffs. Anna stands motionless in the doorway, neither stepping aside nor closing it. I can't. And it wasn't a mistake. Richard's face hardens. What do you mean you can't? After everything we've done for you. You do this to your own sister? To your family? The words hang heavy between them, thick with old guilt and obligation. Anna feels nothing. She did this to us, she says quietly. I just did my job. She closes the door. The soft click of the latch is sharper, more final than any slam could be. 6 weeks later, Anna sits in a federal courtroom, 3 rows behind the prosecution's table. The U.S. attorney addresses the jury with calm confidence. The defendant, Caroline Reynolds, stands charged with 15 counts of federal bank fraud, wire fraud, and aggravated identity theft. At the defense table, Caroline wears a navy pantsuit, her hair pulled back into a tight bun. The gloss and glamour Anna once associated with her sister are gone. Without the expensive makeup and tailored outfits, Caroline seems smaller, diminished. The judge, a severe woman with silver-streaked hair, speaks clearly. Bail was denied due to evidence of attempted obstruction of justice. The defendant tried to delete financial records and contacted family members about moving funds offshore after learning of the investigation. Anna watches Caroline's shoulders stiffen. Her sister hasn't looked at her once since the trial began. The prosecutor approaches an evidence cart. The government submits Exhibit 14, an audio recording made by the defendant's sister, Anna Reynolds, during a family dinner on July 12th. A technician cues the audio. The room stills as Caroline's voice plays through the speakers, sharp, amused, and cruel. I used your credit to get a $90,000 personal loan. You should thank me. I'm building your credit history. The memory floods back to Anna with perfect clarity. The clink of wine glasses, the weight of the silverware, her phone secretly recording on the table. Caroline had been so smug, so sure Anna would stay silent forever. The prosecutor moves steadily through the evidence, the forged loan documents, the bank transfers, the seized assets bought with stolen funds. The jury listens, their expressions tightening as betrayal comes into focus. For hours later, they return. We find the defendant guilty on all 15 counts. Caroline's composure fractures for the first time. Reality crashes through her mask of control. 2 weeks later, during sentencing, the prosecutor stands before the judge once more. Your Honor, the government asks that the court weigh several aggravating factors. The defendant abused family trust, deliberately concealed her actions, and has shown no remorse. The judge scans the documents, then fixes her gaze on Caroline. The court sentences you to 9 years in federal prison, followed by 5 years of supervised release. You will repay $410,000 in full restitution to the victims. Additionally, you are barred from working in any financial institution for 10 years after release. The gavel falls. The sharp crack echoes through the courtroom. Anna watches as federal marshals move in. Caroline finally looks at her, eyes wide, disbelieving, waiting for rescue that will not come. The sister who underestimated her for 32 years is led away. Anna doesn't move. The authority Caroline once wielded through charm and manipulation has evaporated, replaced by the impersonal, unyielding weight of federal justice. Not revenge, Anna thinks. Justice. Weeks later, Anna sits at her desk at the Office of Compliance, processing the same routine paperwork she's handled for years. But everything feels different now. 2 months after the sentencing, Her phone rings. Her mother's voice trembles on the line. Anna, we need your help with the credit bureau forms. Your father tried, but I'll come by tonight, Anna says evenly. Have the account numbers ready. That evening in their Arlington home, she spreads the fraud alert forms across the dining table, the same polished Cherry would wear not long ago. Caroline had raised her wine glass in smug triumph, bragging about stealing her identity. Anna works efficiently, explaining each section with cool professionalism. The trade lines will be cleared in 45 to 60 days, she says, pointing to the relevant clause. The credit bureaus have confirmed. Her mother nods, eyes darting to Anna when she thinks she isn't looking. Her father keeps his gaze on his hands. The emotional scars in this house will remain, but the financial wreckage, $410,000 worth, is finally under control. Her phone buzzes. A text from Martha Green, my office, 9 a.m. tomorrow. The next morning, Anna knocks on the deputy director's door precisely at 9. Martha gestures toward the chair opposite her. Reynolds, she greets crisply, sliding a folder across the desk. Inside lies an official letter bearing the OC seal. Your conduct during the Reynolds investigation was exemplary, ethical, thorough, precise, Martha says. She taps the folder. That's why you've been selected to head our new National Anti-Fraud Task Force. Anna reads the title, Lead Investigator, National Jurisdiction, Interagency Coordination. The quiet woman behind the forms will now oversee financial identity crimes across the country. Martha's mouth lifts slightly, her version of a smile. Effective immediately. Anna nods. Thank you, ma'am. A week later, an envelope arrives from her parents' attorney. Inside are pages from their updated trust and estate plan. Caroline's name removed as both executor and beneficiary. A no contest clause added. Anna signs where indicated and mails it back without comment. That evening, she stops by her parents' home with some tax paperwork. As she walks toward her car, her father follows her down the driveway. The porch light casts shadows across his lined face. Anna, he says quietly, standing beside her aging Subaru, keys trembling in his hand. He swallows hard. We thought being quiet meant being weak. Turns out it meant disciplined. Anna studies him for a long moment. 32 years she had waited for those words, for them to see her clearly. And now that they have, it means nothing. She says nothing. She doesn't need to. Sliding into her car, she starts the engine. The old Subaru hums to life, steady and sure. She merges into the quiet flow of Alexandria traffic. The streetlights flash across the windshield, catching her reflection in the rearview mirror, calm, composed, unseen. Because sometimes the most powerful act isn't vengeance. It's doing your job without flaw. And sometimes real freedom isn't being seen. It's no longer needing to be.